As I look back on 2017, I can think of a lot of technologies that we have seen either gain interest, at least in manufacturing, or maybe even positive traction in manufacturing. So things like cobots, maybe further refinements on production, 3D printing, obviously the industrial Internet of Things. And all of those are related to something that we call smart manufacturing. Now, if you haven't heard of smart manufacturing, Wikipedia, I think, has probably one of the best descriptions I've heard of it. Wikipedia describes smart manufacturing as smart manufacturing enables all information about the manufacturing process to be available when it is needed, where it is needed, and in the form that it is needed across the entire manufacturing supply chain. And of course, a lot of this is digitally oriented. So you might ask, what are some of the technologies that drive smart manufacturing? Well, Stephen Brand touches on some of these in his article, Smart Manufacturing Trends in 2017, that ran this week in Quality Digest. Now, robotics, of course, is the one that probably first comes to mind, robotics or automation. Manufacturing companies use 80% of the industrial robots in the United States, according to the National Bureau of Economic Research. Robots are also becoming easier to program and relatively cheaper to own and operate. So this is going to allow a lot of many small manufacturers to be able to afford them. So expect to see more automation showing up in smaller companies in the future, in the coming years. Another technology is augmented reality. We've talked about that a few times in the show, which is also really growing. And actually, it's growing really, really fast. According to the International Data Corporation, IDC, research company, global spending on products and services related to augmented reality and virtual reality will grow, get this, by more than 100% yearly, jumping from 11.4 billion this year to 214 billion in 2021. That's about a, what do you call that, a 20-time increase.
Doubling every year for the next
Doubling every year for the next 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. So, and I mean, AR, I mean, we've talked about it before, augmented reality is proving to be useful in a lot of manufacturing and field work operations where a person has immediate access to documents, maybe work instructions, or even live help that appear in his or her eyeglasses. So this information is literally in front of their eyes when they need it. So a lot going on with augmented reality. 3D printing, it continues to grow according to Brand. 3D printing investments are expected to increase by 55% in 2017 and 72% in 2018 as modern companies increasingly integrate 3D printing into their day-to-day operations. And again, remember, 3D printing is also, as we mentioned, getting cheaper and actually more available to small companies as well. So there's a lot going on, I think. Personally, I think this is an amazing time to be in manufacturing. There's so many technologies that are now finding their way to the production floor at lower and lower costs. And despite what some doomsayers predict, I don't think you are going to see much net job loss because of all this automation and so forth. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. Hint, hint.
I can't wait.
You can't wait.
I can't wait. Well, we actually talked last week kind of about that too, about the things that we perceive, but you perceive as happening in technology in 2018. But you know, it's good to understand where we've been and what 2017 has brought, because of course everything builds on itself, especially in the world of technology. And but I think, especially in augmented reality, virtual reality.
There's some cool stuff going on with that.
It's amazing, you know, I mean.
Well, every trade show now, I mean, almost every trade show we've been to, somebody has a booth set up, kind of, not necessarily a product, but kind of saying, hey, look what we're doing here with virtual reality, augmented reality. What do you think about it? And kind of testing the market a little bit. And we're seeing that in more and more trade shows.
Well, we're going to be at IMTS in about 10 months. And,
exactly.
I mean, it's going to be, I can guarantee
it's going to be all over the place.
It's going to be all over the place out there too. All right, thanks, Dirk.